we'll start with MaximBet and the announcement that came out today that as of December 15th, MaximBet is going to completely cease operations and shut down.
I know we were absolutely shocked by this news that MaximBet was not making it in the U.S. If you're reading this or not seeing our faces, that's sarcasm. But MaximBet, which is barely even registers on our where we're looking at in terms of handle and revenue in the U.S. Said they're shutting down, barely even been open, and they thought we're going to part. It's a group called Carousel Group that actually owns sportsbetting.com, decided to use the Maxim magazine brand, and it didn't work. And I don't think either of us is shocked at that, but obviously a lot of people with some money thought this was a good idea and that they'd be able to break through, but they learned really quickly that they didn't have anything, that this was not breaking through, that they could not really sustain or even gain any kind of meaningful market share. And I think you and I would have been prepared to give them some free advice or paid advice saying, hey, this is maybe not the best idea in the world to try this. And the Maxim brand, obviously a magazine that's fairly well known, but like slapping that on a sports book was definitely not the answer to getting into critical mass in terms of users in the U.S. And I know privately neither of us was shocked that this happened.
Bruh, you had sportsbetting.com and you turned it into MaximBet. Like, I can't imagine like having essentially the McDonald's brand and turning it into Clown Burger. Like, that's essentially what they did. And a couple things I think this points out, Dustin, in particular. One, the two sports books that we've seen call it quits recently, Fubo and MaximBet, both tried to come at this from a completely sideways angle, right? Fubo understandably wanted to be able to do integration with its broadcasts. That makes a lot of sense. It's just that the technology is nowhere near ready to be able to do that, and the latency issues alone make it next to impossible. Then you talk about what's going on with MaximBet, and all the communications that we got from Maxim were always about the lavish parties that it was going to throw and the lifestyle brand that it was going to build. Right, where's the sports book? Like, where's the core product that is going to keep people there? Like, people are not showing up to a sports book for the party at the Super Bowl. Now, I'll admit, when I was in my early 20s, I was a Maxim magazine subscriber, and I had a number of issues stacked up looking like a library in my house. And the very first time I had a girlfriend come over and look and go, what exactly is that? was about the last time I was a Maxim magazine subscriber at the time. And I say that all to make the point of that I think you're talking about a very narrow demographic that you're trying to appeal to in the first place, and a narrow demographic that doesn't have a lot of money. And so there are just many different ways where this deal never made a whole lot of sense to me. And again, as of December 15th, essentially what they're going to be doing is telling everybody, hey, you've got until then to get your money out, and this thing is going to be over otherwise. They didn't even, Dustin, sell what was there to someone else, which we thought was going to be the way a lot of these things went. I don't know what's there to sell.
Yeah, I mean, we have the numbers. They were only operational in Colorado. 18.7 million in handle. They spent almost 4 million, made just a little under 2 million. Obviously, those numbers are not great. And if you're not committed to it, or committed to, or have a lot of money to spend, we've said this a number of times on this podcast. If you're not committed, and clearly they were not committed to growing this because they weren't launching in other states. They weren't, they did spend a lot of money on marketing, I guess, like $4 million to get $18 million just in wagers is a lot. So they actually did spend a lot of money, but it just underlines how hard it is that you're competing against giant war chests, well-known brands. And if you don't have anything different, if you're just like, again, basically they said like Maxim is a good brand. We had Nicki Minaj, had a baseball player, Charlie Blackmon was endorsing them. Like, it's just not enough. Like, you have to have either a lot of money or something really differentiating you. And, obviously really neither was in play here for MaximBet.